Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What an honor to serve you all at the top of the hour tonight. It is wonderful to see all of your names here, and I can connect so many of these names to faces. Looks like we even just had Dave Chappelle join us. Dave Chappelle. Might need to bring you up here and do some comedy for us, buddy, if time allows it. But there is going to be no comedy in the beginning of this evening's presentation, my friends. This is a serious subject tonight. We are going to be covering the number one most important fundamental skill to making money in the solar industry. And, you know, this presentation tonight and this new training and this whole revamped process that we're getting ready to share with everybody in Powur was really born from our desire. Actually, Charles, I just want to make sure, yep, it is recording. Okay, fantastic. So this was really born from our desire, guys, to take our skill sets to the next level and to really invest time and money and energy into the education of our Powur community and into our Powur community having access to really become solar professionals and understand the ins and the outs of how do you succeed at this business model. How do you truly develop the skill of having a conversation with a homeowner that consistently and duplicatively turns into appointments and turns into signed contracts. And so what we're going to show you guys tonight is the result of years of us compiling all the information, all the scripts, all the processes, all that we have learned pioneering this model in the solar industry into one refined methodology for how we convert homeowners to be solar powered. And, really from start to finish. So I'm going to really implore everyone who's listening to tonight's call to take this so seriously. I'm telling you right now, you cannot imagine how your life can change when you master the money-making skill sets that are poised in front of an industry that's going to experience exponential growth. I'm just telling you, you can't imagine it. I've been lucky enough at a few different times in my career to ride the wave of exponential growth in different industries. One was video online, another was social media online, and both times my skills that I mastered being in front of those trends that were exponentially growing led to me making millions of dollars. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not guaranteeing you'll make that money, but what I'm sharing with you are the principles. When you really understand the principles, and the principles here are that you master the skill sets before the exponential growth. Position yourself in an industry that is poised for exponential growth and master the skill sets to succeed. Have those skill sets ingrained in your DNA, ingrained in your mind. It should be second nature. You should be able to do it in your sleep. And when you understand those principles, you've mastered the most important skill sets in front of industries poised for exponential growth, you can't even imagine how your life can change. And there's only a handful of skill sets you really need to master to become a six-figure earner in this business, like many of our advisors have. One of which will be leading you guys tonight. And where we go as this goes into exponential growth, I believe that's going to be 7- and 8-figure income earners that we see, witness in this company over the next decade. So that's what tonight's about. We're so excited to roll this new process out. We're going to follow up with even more in-depth live coaching so you can really master this process and ingrain this process in you. And every single person that shows up to us with their hands raised and says, Jonathan, Charles, and all of my leadership team at Powur, I'm a willing and open-minded student to learn these skills and become a master, guess what? We're going to lock arms with you. We're going to make sure you get the knowledge you need, the training you need, the enthusiasm, the passion, the wisdom that you need to really go out there and make your goals and make your dreams come true. My friend Charles, if we could hit the next slide, that would be great. So the quick agenda for tonight, I don't know how we skipped the agenda page. Did we miss the agenda page, Charles? Because I thought, oh, you know what? I think we were working off different decks. My bad, my bad. So the quick agenda, obviously we have the introduction, which I mainly just covered. Then we're going to review the appointment setting mastery process. And we want to give you guys the high-level overview of how this process works. We want you to see it from the 30,000-foot view first, so you understand that each part of this process is critical to getting your customer to actually say, yes, I want to go solar. So we're going to walk you through the process, and then after we've walked you through the process, we're going to go back and we're going to teach you the appointment setting mastery script. This is a brand new word-for-word script that you're going to be able to practice and memorize. That when you learn this script and you practice it and you memorize it, it's going to produce amazing results for you. And of course, if we have any time left over at the end, we're going to do some Q&A. And we also have a very special announcement. Hang on to the end. I'm so pumped up for this because we're about to announce where we're going next as well. So before we get started, though, we have the proof being in the pudding, okay? The one and only Mr. Jersey Joe Rude is on the line with us tonight, and we're welcoming him into our Solar Champions Club. Joe just hit his $2,000 bonus on his third completed install. So it's just so amazing to see the proof of what happens when you master the solar conversation. And, you know, Joe really took it upon himself over the last year to really understand solar energy and master the conversation. Now he's an animal. Everywhere he goes, he's creating appointments and creating leads and signing deals and cashing checks because he really got, you know, he got solar in his blood, and he's become a master at this first stage of the process. We also have another solar champion, which unfortunately she couldn't join us tonight. I'd love for you to hear from her too, all the way from the state of Washington. Ying Zhao, the wonderful, beautiful wife of Warren Raven, also just hit the Solar Champions Club and cashed her $2,000 bonus. So it's just amazing to see so many advisors and passionate power warriors, you know, cashing their 2K checks and really creating impact and creating income as they panel the planet. And without further ado, I really want to introduce you guys to Jersey Joe, so he can share, you know, what it is that has inspired him and what it is he's doing on a daily basis that's really allowing him to create these results. So, of course, we can all follow in his footsteps. And last thing I'll say, Jersey Joe currently has the record for the largest officially signed contract in Powur. He signed a 300 kW system. That is 300 kW, ladies and gentlemen. That's the equivalent of like about 50 residential homes. So he is our Jersey Joe solar champion. Mr. Rude, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for having me on this call. I'm once again flattered and honored to be speaking on this call. It means so much for me to be speaking to you and to the rest of the advisors and guests on the call tonight. My life has changed so much in the last year and a half, being with your company. Every day, every week, something new and exciting happens in this company, and I look forward every day after my job of protecting and serving the community to come home and fight for my why of helping my son and my other kids. My oldest son has special needs, and that's one of my missions, is to connect with people in the special needs world. So if I can give just a little bit of advice in the beginning, you guys talk about, you know, going through the playbook and making a list, and I find that is really key, and everyone should do that, and I did that too, but you have to also expand off that playbook and look for other people. So for instance, my first 3 installs were someone from my son's special needs play group who was referred to me. He told me he had solar, and then he gave me a referral. The second one was a guy I pulled over on the side of the road, and he was broken down, and he said, you know, my brother may be interested in this. And then the third guy, my contractor who was fixing my daughter's bathroom, he said, you know, my eye doctor may be interested in this. And all 3 of them were not even on my list, didn't even come across my mind. But now they're all having solar at their house. So it's just something you guys, everyone needs to think of. Go beyond your current list. And Jim has an excellent video on that on networking that everyone should look up. It really has changed my life.
That's amazing, my friend. So if you had never thought to ask, you know, hey, who do you know, then you wouldn't have been a champion right now.
No, and you know, it's exciting. This is, you know, beyond anything I expected today when you sent me a text, and I told my wife. My wife is dialing in upstairs with the kids, and it's just, you know, more of this stuff. You know, it's not just about the money. It's just a sense of community and family, and more about what we're doing for the planet, and you know, where we're going to go beyond here.
Well, there are thousands of people who will now be inspired by your story, my friend, who are going to hopefully follow in your footsteps and take that courageous action of expanding their list. And, you know, whether it's a person you bump into, you know, doing some contracting work on your house, or heck, somebody you pulled over. I mean, what an amazing example of just how being in dialogue about solar energy leads to your future customers, leads to your bonus checks, leads to your, you know, your dream and your passion being built. And, you know, that is inspiring, my friend, you know, on top of the work you're already doing, serving the community as an officer, you know, to then come home and serve the planet as a solar champion. That's a double whammy, Powur. That's a double whammy. Hey, do we have any update on when that commercial deal is being installed too?
The permits are now going through the town, and you should start seeing some action. I'll keep you guys posted online.
Wow. So the permits are, so it's almost ready to get the permits back.
Yep. Jersey's a little bit slower than the rest of the country, as unfortunately we well know.
Well, buddy, I can't wait to send you a check on a 300 kW system too, my friend. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. College right around the corner.
Joe, thank you so much, my friend. Your service to the world is massively appreciated and admired. Congratulations on being a solar champion, and I hope everybody follows in your footsteps. And now, guys, to the main event, I'm going to turn it over to the one and only Charles Thompson, who tirelessly works. I mean, I seriously know a few people on the planet who are as selfless with their ability to really jump in and add value and care about people and look for every single way that they can really improve other people's lives and make this company better and your team better and everything we're doing better than Charles Thompson. Truly, Powur wouldn't be Powur without him, and he was instrumental in the creation of all of this training, and it's really just an honor to work side by side with Charles. So I'm so excited for him to really share with you guys and present to you guys and lead you guys tonight into true appointment setting mastery. And I will tell you that this is the one, the only, the fundamental skill you need to master to make money in solar. And when you master the skill, you're going to have an income stream in front of exponential growth over the decade to come. So, Charles, thank you so much, my friend. I'm going to go on mute now and I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bud, and I'm honored to work with you and really humbled to be in this unique position to be able to create the opportunity to share everything that I've learned and learned from each of you in the field, learned from Joe. And Joe, I love you, man. It's so cool to hear your story. I'm still curious, though, whether you actually ripped up the ticket for that guy or not, but we'll talk about that some other day. Some other day. Listen, folks, we have created this company, you might have heard it before, to return power back to the people in two ways, and that's to decentralize as we shift this world away from the centrally controlled, the monopolized, dirty energy grid, and enable you to be able to power your home, your homeowners to be able to power their home from their own rooftop with sustainable energy. And when we do that, we share the wealth. We shift this money from the centralized companies, the monopolies that are out there, to our network of power advisors and to our local and regional solar providers as opposed to another monopoly, in bringing those cost-saving solutions into the community. And as Jonathan said, the people who master the appointment setting process will be able to make a lot of money in our revenue share plan. And those who can effectively teach this, which is obviously the next step, teach this to your team to master the appointment setting process, will be able to create wealth within this model. And I'm living proof of that. I will tell you, I learned from my own mistakes. When I came into Powur, I came in with some years of experience in the solar, and I learned to stop relying on that. I learned to stop answering the questions, and the coaching that you'll hear tonight will be a reflection of that. From this conversation forward, the purpose of every meeting that you have with someone regarding solar, of course, is to help the customer go solar. And with this, we're 100% committed to your success, and this training will equip you with all the tools that have been proven. And this will help you relaunch or launch your Powur business and then begin this journey into solar entrepreneurship. There's many nuanced reasons people go solar, but understand that the two main benefits are economic and environmental. The economic benefits will be different for every person who goes solar. It varies by home, it varies by roof, it varies by market, it varies by utility. The environmental benefits will be the same no matter how the homeowner goes solar. So digging in and learning what pushes their button is part of the process that you'll learn tonight. We have somewhat of a pregame, and the whole goal here when you meet with somebody is to build rapport, keep this as a conversation, make it fluid, ask probing questions. You'll see great examples of those in the training tonight, and then actively listen to your customer. And once you take all of the skill sets that we're sharing with you tonight, you will be able to present with absolute confidence. The first meeting is really the stage setting. It's where you collect what you need, you frame the meeting with something that we refer to as payload, and we'll dive into this. We'll actually give you a good example of what that is. It's a very proven process of helping anyone succeed, particularly within the sales industry. And it's a purpose. It's then your agenda. How are you going to get there? What are we going to do? The logistics. Those are the assets that you use to accomplish the outcome. And all of these work in harmony, and we're going to give you specific tools to learn this. And by the way, I'm sure you've been sitting here wanting to take notes and do everything you do. Please do that, but know that we are going to have a companion document that will accompany this presentation that will be sent out to all of you tomorrow. And then we'll be doing weekly sessions hereafter until we really get this nailed down with all of you so you can then duplicate this and coach others. Second step, to build credibility. Become the trusted advisor. And that's really how you want people to look at you as you start having a solar conversation. You don't have to be the expert. You be the trusted advisor. Third step is gathering the bill, gathering the data that's necessary to generate the proposal, and then frame the purpose of the second meeting. We've got that on the next slide. You'll see exactly what we'll do, and then select 2 appointment times for the in-home presentation by the local or regional best-in-class solar provider. Second meeting, this is the closing meeting. And not always does the deal close on the very first visit. Sometimes it takes 2 visits. But if you set the stage as well as we are going to coach you to do, more and more of your opportunities will close on the first visit. The provider will present the proposal, I mean, the proposal lines up with everything that we talk about here tonight. And then follow up with your client. There's a number of ways to do that. Whether they did or didn't sign on the first visit, you want to check in with them and see how everything went. Get a little bit of an idea of what you might be able to get feedback to your partners at the provider network. You might be able to say, hey, listen, I spoke with Joe, and Joe said if this would have happened, he would have gone. Boom, you've got a very valuable tool that you can use to go back to the provider. Stay involved until the panels are on the roof, and then once the panels are on the roof, and actually along the process the entire time, ask for referrals. Now that you've seen the process, do you know anyone else that would like to take advantage of this? Now that you've seen the benefits of going solar, do you know anyone else who would like to take advantage of this? Always ask for referrals. We all know the 5 stages of leads. That process is very simple, but it's mastering that. It's doing it more effectively. The first stage, the savings conversation. We're going to coach through that very, very in depth tonight, where we as advisors, again, I'm from the field, folks. I still, to this day, continue to generate appointments in the field and generate advisors, the 2 things that we do to succeed. So have that conversation, get that interest generated. And then the second stage, of course, is where we live transfer the prospect into the provider, the customer, into the provider's dedicated line, and they qualify the appointment. Oftentimes people say, what does that entail? How long is it going to take? And I say on average 10 to 15 minutes, and I try to create a little bit of a visual. So what's going to happen is when I set you up for a calm conversation, I'll be on the line with you, so you're giving some reassurance. They're going to ask you just a couple of questions. They're probably going to take a look at your home from a software similar to Google Earth. Have you ever done that? They're going to look for things that maybe determine that if there's an issue, or ask you questions about trees and those types of things. That may get a conversation going again. Hey, is the tree on that left-hand corner still there, etc. And the third stage, if you've done these 2 effectively, you're going to have significantly higher ratios of those going to appointment held, which means we've gone in the home or we've done a telephone presentation by one of the preferred providers who we've introduced your customer to. And that triggers the first commission. That's a milestone. That's an accomplishment. We get rewarded. That's significant. 4th stage is, and you want to see at least 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 of the people, the customers who have seen the appointment, they've seen the proposal. And if you really do well, you can see as many as 50% sign a contract on the first or second visit. And then ultimately, where we get the significant trigger of commission, that second milestone, is when we get installed. And the more effectively we do our job here, that makes the provider's job better, and that makes more people smoothly transition from contract to installation. So we've defined the stages. Let's dive in and talk about the steps necessary in setting appointments so they can evaluate a zero-down solar consultation. It's a 5-step process: creating the conversation, introducing Powur into that conversation, introducing payload, asking a closing question, simple to do, and then getting the bill and doing the live transfer. So let's dive in. First step, present your homeowner with truly what is an irresistible offer. It's a free consultation. But this is where we have to bridge the gap. We have to have a conversation. And you can't jump right into solar. You got to kind of catch up, unless this is a warm referral or you're doing marketing. Let's say if you're contacting a friend or family, you want to have a conversation first and get to know, hey, how's everything been going? How's life, et cetera, et cetera. Then after your conversation is where you make that transition. A great starter question that I always like to use is, have you noticed your electricity bills going up over the past few years? Because inevitably, virtually everyone is going to say yes. And then you simply say, yeah, and me too. It's crazy. Now you've got them in a yes mode, and you introduce them. Why am I even asking you this? Did you know I recently started with Powur? You don't know who Powur is? Well, I'm now certified with Powur to help homeowners evaluate if solar is right for their home and can save them $26,000 or more on their energy costs. And if solar didn't cost you anything, would you be open to saving $26,000 or more? And it's that pause, it's that silence to just let them answer. Now that they've started their answer, you introduce Palo. Palo is very simple. All I would like to do tonight is have a conversation with you about solar. I'll introduce you to what I'm doing, what I'm working with here at Powur. I'll learn about your questions. I'll hear your ideas about solar, and I'll explain some common misconceptions. Then I'll gather a few pieces of information to see if your home's a good candidate because they have lots of money. And then what I'll do is I'll get you a free solar proposal, put that in your hands from the best solar provider in your area to see what your immediate and long-term cost savings will be. That's your purpose, your agenda. It's all laid out in simple terms, how we're going to get there, and there's our outcome. You do that effectively, and it only gets easier because here you can now ask the closing question. You can jump right into a closing question at the point. What are your thoughts about solar? Have you ever looked into solar? If there's an objection, we'll talk about how to deal with that. What you want to do is keep things conversational. You know, we're not broadcasting, we're not pitching. Listen to him, listen to her. Whatever their beliefs are about solar, listen. If they think it won't work for them, then you can refer to how to handle an objection. So let's move away from the steps for a moment. Since we're talking about potential objections, let's talk about that. Let's dive in a little bit. In handling objections, when your prospect has a question or objection, important to remember, you cannot drop a thought or an idea into a closed mind. You have to open their mind first. And the easiest way to accomplish this is by agreeing with them or by complimenting them, and that's what we refer to as cushioning. Then after you cushion, overcome it real simply, don't get too in depth, and then ask for the close. That's it. And the simplest way to do it is ask for a bill. So let's look at the steps. 4 steps: cushion, overcome, go back to the script, close. Some examples. We'll go back to this. We'll recap this in just a moment. So how do I cushion? Cushion, great way. And look, I understand how you feel. Or that's a great question. You know, most people felt that way. Any one of these or a combination of those can work. And don't make it sound like it's coming out like a script. Say, oh, yeah, I know. I understand. That's a great question. Or, you know, I've been doing this for a while. Most people have felt that way. But you know what? Things have changed. Solar is very, very affordable these days. So, you know, every home's different. Let's see what's true for your home. All you need to do is send me a copy of your bill, and we can get this process started. We can take a look at whether it's right for your home or it's not right for your home. Right then, ask them for the bill. So just a quick review, 4-step process. Cushion, overcome it, go back to the script, and close. It's a great question. You know what? That's a great issue. Yeah, you know, you were right years ago, but things have changed. Every home is different. Give me a copy of it. I'll take a look and see if this is right for you. Let's see what's true for your home. So kudos for Dan Haar for coming up with that one. So now here's where we left off. Left up on step 4. What are your thoughts about solar? Have you ever looked into solar? You may have great feedback. Oh yeah, I know solar is the way of the future. I actually had that happen in an elevator in San Antonio. I helped a couple put a bag into the elevator. Gentleman asked me what I did. I said I work with a company called Powur. We've got a platform that introduces homeowners to the best local solar companies. He said, oh man, solar's the future. I said, no, absolutely, the future's here, man. Is he serious? I said, well, he said, hopefully someday I can afford it. I said, you can afford it now. It's no cost whatsoever. I could set you up for a free consultation. Exactly what we're talking about, a conversation. Meanwhile, I'm dragging 2 bags to the elevator. His wife is dragging the other, and he's filling out my online, putting all the information other than the bill, and he sent that to me later. So it's that simple, just having a conversation. Then what I like to get into, if you sort of get that thought process going, I love the analogy of gasoline because most people can relate. Most people know what they're paying for a gallon of gasoline. So if you can draw an analogy, then you can tie it back in, and tie-ins are important. You're gaining your credibility. You're becoming that expert, becoming that advisor. And that is, hey, if you were given a chance, so you know what they're paying, right? Yes, I do. I'm paying, well, LA $3.50, right? Or here in Texas, $2.15. If you were given a chance to lock in that price per gallon 20 or more years ago, back when it was less than $1 a gallon, Would you have taken advantage of that offer? Well, of course I would have taken advantage of it. I thought so. Do you happen to know what you pay for a kilowatt of electricity? So you tie it together, not just dropping something in. You get them thinking, and then you tie it into a kilowatt hour of electricity. Now, it's important to know what that is if you're asked, what's that? Well, a kilowatt is a measurement of energy. That's what you're using, much like a gallon is a measurement of liquid. Pretty much the same thing. Do you know what you're paying for a kilowatt of electricity? 9 times out of 10, they have no earthly idea. If they do, you're in good shape, actually. That's a great thing. You say, fantastic. If not, that's a great time to ask for the electric bill so you can explain how they are charged for electricity. So again, you're in a conversation. Go ahead and grab a bill. Just get a bill and let's talk through it. I'll walk you through how to do it. Or if you want to take a picture, snap it and send it on over to me. However you want to approach at that point depends on the conversation that you're in. So grab a copy of the bill and let's figure out what you're paying. All right, great. So now let's look at the bill. In designing solar systems, if you've been listening over the trainings that we do, this is important, but it's not as relevant for this section here, and that's the charges. Oftentimes, people are very confused when they look at their bill, and this is actually a pretty simple bill by some standards. They look at this and they think, well, this is what I'm paying for electricity. I'm paying 6.9 cents for a kilowatt. Well, the reality is you have to look at the total. You take the total amount that they're being charged and you divide that by the kilowatt hours, and that's 18.3 cents in this case, versus what if they just looked at the bill and said, I'm paying 6.9 cents. So don't take somebody's number that they have it for fact. It's best to have them look at the bill, go down to the very bottom, and really even better if you can get them to send you that bill right then and there, because then your job's only going to be easier from this point forward. But you got to it by a process of conversation, as opposed to sounding like it's something you have to do in order for me to get you qualified. Very simple conversation this way. Okay, now you know what they're paying. Then you can jump into another hypothetical. What if, so now that you know what a kilowatt hour is and what you're paying, what if you were given the option to lock in your kilowatt hour rate for the next 25 or more years? That's an interesting option. Would you opt in? Well, if I can show you how to lock in your rates, save you money on your electric bill immediately, and $26,000 or more over the long term, and it didn't cost you a single dollar up front, that gets you interested. Who can't be interested in something like that? If yes, great, let's get started. If you already have their bill, you're one step ahead. If you don't, well, let's get your bill. Because you have to have that to upload for every lead submission. As you know, it will enable you to much higher conversion ratios, as you're going to see here in a minute, and it's critical that you explain the purpose of that if they don't know. But leading into it, that's what I want you to see, leading into it in the manner of a conversation, it doesn't even require explanation at that point because you already pretty much laid it out for them in simple terms that they had analogies to draw against it. If you need to explain the purpose, well, the savings you'll receive varies based upon how much you're paying for electricity and how much you use on an annual basis. And what we're going to do is we're going to need to get you a formal proposal. We need a clean copy of the most recent electric bill. By providing that, IES, ABC, DEF, you name the company, or two, we'll design a system to replace most or all of the energy you bought from the dirty energy grid last year with cleaner, cheaper energy this year and for the rest, virtually the rest of your life. Now, do you do online or you do paper bills? Keep it conversational. Keep it casual, matter of fact. Then give them guidance. If you don't have a printed copy, let's go to your utility website. It's pretty simple. In front of a computer. All right, great. Go on, log in, and just find where it says View Bill. If you're with that same utility, you should know that process, but it's typically very simple. View the bill, download it or upload it, take a picture of it, email it to me, text it to me. It's a really, really simple process once they have it downloaded into their system. Now, as of equal importance is to find 2 times for a free consultation. People often ask, well, why 2 times? Well, One time might work perfectly well. That's the one you put in the platform. If not, let's have a backup. You can save time. You can properly put them in the mindset that I'm not just doing this. Now I'm actually setting up for a consultation, so I need a day and time. Let me look at my calendar. Let me find a couple that work. Say, great. Now let's find a few times for you to have your solar consultation with ABC, and we'll review that zero-down solar proposal. If for whatever reason the first time doesn't work, your second time will be a great backup. Assume that your customer is going to have that appointment in the next 72 business hours of your live transfer. The sooner that appointment is, you're in momentum, you have their attention, they like what they've heard, the more effective that appointment will become. The further out it is, the less of a priority it is. We understand people's schedules sometimes are complicated, but try to assume it's going to be with the next day. So you can actually coach them. Pick a couple of times in the next 3 or 4 days that we can utilize. And all we need at this point, now that we've got your days and times, is about 10 to 15 minutes to do a 3-way call. I'll introduce you and stay on the line with you. Is this a convenient time to make that call? Fantastic. All right, let me collect a few more bits of information. I'm loading all this up into our platform. Let me verify your address. You got their bill. You can read it right off there. Is this correct? Yes, great. And estimated monthly bill. Now, there's deeper coaching we'll do as we go on. You can actually figure out exactly what that is. But in this case, the provider's going to do that detailed work. Just look at the bill and get an average or ask them, what do you pay on average? I know I see what you paid last month, but what's your average over the last 12 months, would you say? Great. And what's your best email and phone number so we can make sure they communicate with you, and if there's any changes, we can handle that through the platform. Now, critical step. This is what we have learned as a company that has really differentiated us from anything else out there, and that is the live transfer. That's what our company has become known about and will become legends in this industry, is because of a live transfer with the bill. So the last step is me to confirm this appointment time with ABC Company, and it's only going to take a few minutes. Can we call them now? Great. Click on it. Follow the process. The script is there. Make sure you're calling, obviously, in business hours. That's in their profile. It's pretty straightforward. And once you've completed the live transfer, you just click on the appropriate buttons. Everything is there for you. Folks, this is the number. Data is data. You cannot deny data. And you can prove anything statistically, but data doesn't lie. And the fact is that live transferring with the bill increases your closing ratio on appointment to contract by 300%. If there's anyone on this call that wants to make 300% more than you're currently making, live transfer with the bill. Once you click on live transfer, everything will come up that you need, the phone number to call, the script that you need to make that phone call, everything will be there. Once you've completed the process, and I recommend just sticking through it so you know everything went smooth, click I have completed the live transfer. And for all intents and purposes, your job's done. But remember, you want to stay involved. You want to be able to have that conversation. How did everything go? What do you think? Do you happen to know anybody else now that you've seen our process? And ask for referrals every step that you can along the way. Last few analogies, use them as you can create them into a conversation. The clean energy versus regular energy. What if you had the option to use energy you're currently renting from the utility, or clean energy that you own for the same price? So in markets that the price points are really tight that first year, this is a great way to look at it. It is to simply look, your price is going to be about the same, and that's the next one called grid parity, where you hold your fingers together and you say, today, in this market, we're at what we call grid parity. It's when the cost of owning your own power plant and buying energy from yourself is equal to or lower than renting it and renting that energy from a utility company and investing in their power plant. Would you like to own your own power, or would you like to rent it from the utility company? And that is a way to just put things into perspective. And in closing here, the only two things you need to do to succeed in this business, we've said it, you've heard it, this is the reality, is to set up solar appointments refer entrepreneurs to watch our video and join our team, and that is it. People who do those things the best and master each of those skill sets are winning big already and are going to win huge in the coming years as we make this next shift, which helps the world shift to sustainable energy. And with that, Mr. Budd, I would like to turn the baton back to you for what you plan on wrapping up this wonderful call with the announcement, sir.
Thanks, Charles. So, a bow tie that I'd like to really put on this for everybody is that obviously, we just shared really meaty content. And this is a process and a script that, again, you could follow it word for word exactly, and you're going to experience phenomenal results. Or you could just make it your own and nail the process and kind of develop your own natural flow to it all and experience phenomenal results. But the point of all of this is that as we send out the companion document and you get a Word document in your hand so that you can read through this script and read through this process, as we announce the upcoming training so you can attend the upcoming trainings and practice the script in real time, live, with people, with Charles, with lead trainers. The point, and then, of course, going out into the real world where you learn the most and practicing it on your first few clients. The point is that over the next 30 days, anyone who commits themselves to mastering this process can absolutely, with a literal handful of clients, that's all you need, 3 to 5, that you take through this process, really master and embody a skill that could pay you for the next decade to come, and that will position you to be one of the first and most skilled people in front of the exponential growth of solar energy. And make no mistake about it, guys, distribution is where the money is made. There are millions and millions and millions of homes that are eligible for solar right now. The money is going to be in distribution. It's customer acquisition. It's who are the people who know how to go get those customers. Those people are going to make trillions of dollars collectively. Trillions of dollars will flow through all of those customers as we convert the world to solar energy. This is a multi-trillion-dollar business, and the money is in distribution. The money is in customer acquisition. So my call to action to everyone tonight is to really look at it from a process perspective. Where can you be by January 1st, the new year, by committing to the next 45 days, by closing out 2017 strong, by showing up to the training events, by practicing this process, by reviewing the script, by working an hour or 2 a day in your business, on yourself, on your business, memorizing things, practicing things. By January 1st, can you be a master? And if you commit yourself to that, guys, to taking your game to that next level, I'm telling you, you're going to position yourself in front of exponential growth. Charles, can we hit the next slide?
Yes, sir. Here you are.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Obviously, I am not going to unveil tonight, but you have all heard for months now possible little murmurings. You've heard me teasing about things. You've heard me sneaking about things. You've heard, I don't know what the heck you've heard. We've tried to keep as tight of a lid on everything as humanly possible, which I think, due to a lot of NDAs and a phenomenal loyalty and trust amongst most of our core leadership team, we've been successful at. But it's time. It is time to unveil Powur 3.0. We are about to revolutionize the industry again. We are about to roll out an insanely powerful, no pun intended, crazy unique business model at the beginning of 2018 that is unprecedented, that no one has ever done before, and is going to take the opportunity for you inside of our company and for our ability to create income and impact to the next freaking level. In true fashion, we need to do this with an amazing event. So we will be having a product launch announcement into the future of 3.0 and how we are going to disrupt the solar industry again, fix the broken model of the large-scale national providers, which has been revealed over the last 24 months, and pave the way with a brand new Workforce 2.0 opportunity that brings all of that, what we've been working towards, and the potential of this industry to change your life and countless people's lives to the next level. I'm going to encourage anyone who wants to be there to watch and witness history as we make it again with Powur 3.0's announcement to join us live. The date is 12/7, December 7th. This is a Thursday night. We open the doors for the physical location at 6 p.m. This is on. This is going to be in Encinitas, California. So doors open at 6 p.m. You can register right now. You can actually go to launchpowur.com, launchpowur.com. So you can just go to launchpowur.com. It'll redirect you to our registration page for this event. You can also go to this link right here on your screen, powur30.eventbrite.com. That might actually be the wrong link, actually, guys. If you spell Eventbrite with a T, it's powur30.eventbrite, no G-H. It's a T-E.com. So either of those URLs will get you there, launchpowur.com or powur30.eventbrite, B-R-I-T-E.com, will get you there. This will be a free event. There are limited spaces, limited seats, so you have to register shortly if you want to be allowed in the room. It will be a VIP event. We're going big. And, of course, for all of our advisors around the country, we do plan on live streaming this event to thousands and thousands of people internationally, so everyone will be able to witness where we believe the solar industry needs to go next, and the brand new game-changing product that Powur will be rolling out on its platform that will be hitting in January 2018. That's going to revolutionize our business model once again. Possibly, I believe it's actually bigger than what we did in the switch from 1.0 to 2.0. This is a freaking game changer, guys, and I've been working on it for about 6 months, and I cannot wait to show you where we are going next. So everybody, go get registered for the unveiling event. Buckle up, because we're going to have some fun. 3.0 is around the corner. It's time for us to lock and load and close out this year strong and get ready for absolute fireworks and magic, which is in store as we continue to relentlessly pursue our mission, our purpose of transitioning the world to sustainable energy and solving the challenges that have stopped previous solar companies from growing into trillion-dollar giants. They've hit billion-dollar giants, but it's time to grow well beyond billions, my friends. And the 3.0 model that we're going to unveil, I truly believe, is the pathway to do it. So get registered. Thank you, everybody. We will be following up with more information soon. The game is on. Charles, if you want to take some questions, I believe we have about 10 minutes where we could hit some Q&A.
Roger that, sir. Let me start looking through the questions.
If you've got a question, hit us with it.
Let's see, I have a customer who is renting her home. Power on the renter's name. The renters are a little bit difficult. You have to have the owner involved in the conversation, and the owner will be the one who has to sign the contract. You can discuss that with your customer. If the renter is able to get the owner involved, then certainly can try to put that through the process. Several questions about renting. Thank you, Laz. Thank you, Andy. No questions, just comments, guys. Thank you. Good feedback.
See you in Encinitas, baby.
Yes, sir.
Everybody in the SoCal or driving distance, or heck, even if you want to fly, now's the time to lock in your seat.
You know, one question came through with Nancy about, do we have any questions on or getting new providers? There's a provider application on the powur.com homepage down the very bottom, and you can have someone who's in your market be considered through that platform. We ask them a series of questions, and if we, Jonathan, you might want to discuss the parameters by which we may or may not contact them. but it's a very simple process by driving them to the Powur.com page. Okay, best airport. San Diego is the best airport. LAX should be the next best, or Long Beach, Orange County, any number, but San Diego is right in the backyard. Just looking at more comments. Local hotels, good question. Since we're talking about 3.0, local hotels, there's a Holiday Inn Express right around the corner. It's a great location. There's a number of 2- and 3-star hotels in the same general vicinity. I recommend hotwire.com. Great platform for finding cheap hotels, inexpensive hotels.
Okay. Situation.
Yep.
If you come across a situation where a provider, a sales consultant at a provider is offering an incentive, really just redirect the customer back to our incentive and say, hey, there's no reason to go through them. We pay you as well. So that's what the whole Powur platform is about. But not only is it, this one company, it's 80 other companies. And, one of the things I think we're going to start focusing on in the new year too is starting to recruit a lot more of our customers, because talk about a great promoter is somebody with solar power on their house. So we're gonna roll out some new trainings on how to actually recruit our customers and have them join your team as advisors.
Absolutely. Several questions about the posting of this. Yes, this training will be posted. You'll find it on Pioneers. It will go on to all the leadership groups and be distributed accordingly. I don't know that it will be done tonight, but it's something certainly be done within 24 hours.
And somebody asked, Chad asked a question about where to get fresh leads. So Chad, I'm going to refer back to the playbook and what Joe said tonight. So you absolutely want to start with, everybody knows at least 100 people. It's just impossible to not do that. If you've been alive for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years, you know thousands of people. So it really is about starting with your warm network, talking to everybody and just asking who do they know, and if you're not interested, who do you think would be interested? And you heard Joe Rude tonight literally say that he became a solar freaking champion from 3 people who weren't a good fit, who introduced him to somebody who was a good fit, who all went solar. So, I think it's really about having that conversation with your warm network and then asking who do they think would be a great fit, and that's the place where you start every time, my friend. And there's so many other places. We have so many great examples of people who are constantly going to networking events or meetup groups or talking to people on Facebook or whatever it is, and just every conversation has the chance to lead you into a new teammate or a new client.
Yeah, I think the point being, folks, we have the Powur 24 sessions every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Dan Haar, myself, and Kimberly currently run those events. They're a great place to go to get coached up and really get to know the whole process. We really focus tonight on mastering on the appointment setting side. So make sure that you go through the Powur 24 session, either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or go to all 3 of them. So you can hear different perspectives, same content, similar content, different styles, different presentations. Go to powur.com/first24, FIRST 24, and watch that video series. These are all fundamental necessary skills to get to the level that you can then master the appointment setting that we covered tonight.
Daniel, if you submit your commercial project, you just have to let the provider evaluate if solar is feasible on the property. There's going to be properties which it's not feasible. If you have a high-rise tower that uses 1 million kilowatt hours of energy a year, and they have a couple thousand square foot of real estate on their roof, solar's not going to be able to produce 1 million kilowatt hours a year. So, if they have no other place to put a ground mount or anything else, then that's just a physics problem. So, as with all of those things, we don't need to figure that out. If you think you have a qualified candidate, get the bill, submit it to the provider, and let them evaluate, if the property is eligible.
Excellent. And Angela, to your questions about a specific provider, best thing to do is just a local market due diligence. And if you feel that someone who meets the requirements that you would want to have representing you in your local market, and reach out to them and encourage them to apply on our provider application on powur.com down the very bottom of the page.
Fantastic. All right, Mr. Charles, we are at the top of the hour.
Yes, sir.
Powur
Thank you, Mr. Bud.
Powur
Thank you for the
3.0
opportunity.
will be live streamed, Whitney, starting at 6:30 p.m. PST. We will be live streaming the event to all of those who cannot attend with us and make history live.
Mr. Smith just made a great recommendation. As everyone on this webinar submitted your own home, there's absolutely no better place to start than home, and then your close friends and family then start creating that list and sharing solar with everyone on your list. But you can be the best referral source of anyone.
Phenomenal. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Charles, as always, my friend, applause. Well done. Beautiful training and content shared tonight. I'm so looking forward to us sending out the companion document to go with this, in addition to the recording of this event and some follow-up times to participate in ongoing coaching. I want to encourage everyone again to really commit over the next 45 days to mastering appointment setting 101, the fundamental skill to transform clients into actual solar customers. In 45 days, you could be a master. And when you combine that with where we are going next and the announcement and unveiling of Powur 3.0, hang on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because we're about to make history. Guys and gals, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. We appreciate each and every one of you. We love you. We're inspired by the work that you're all doing every day to make the world an amazingly better place, to fight for a sustainable future, and to build a career and an income that inspires you and is aligned with who you want to be in the world. Thank you for who you are. God bless. We'll talk to you all soon.